welcome back all of my subscribers, and if this is your first time joining me for a pick a card, my name is Odessa. I'm the Mystic Intuitive Healer. I'm a psychic medium, Reiki master, spiritual coach, and an intuitive tarot card reader. And through the work I'm doing here on YouTube, as well as my website, odessamall.com, I hope to deliver messages to you that will help you to awaken, heal, align, and grow. I'm really excited about our topic today. It's a totally different topic than I've ever done before. I'm going to be looking at what you guys are going to be famous for or known for. So we're all here for a specific reason. We have a life purpose, and many of us have life purposes that as we fulfill them, they're going to draw us into the public eye. We might be known by a small group of people, but we might be known by the entire world. Who knows? I'm going to get into the cards and we'll find out. So I've got 3 piles for you guys to select from. Pile number 1 is partnered with 2 crystals. Typically, I only do 1 crystal, but my guides were very specific that they wanted me to use both. So I've got rose quartz here. This is raw rose quartz, which is typically partnered with the heart chakra, and then raw amethyst, which is typically partnered with your third eye. So that would correspond with love and psychic abilities. Then pile number 2 is partnered with this sage bundle. This is just regular garden sage that I wrapped in twine. And then pile number 3 is partnered with this little bundle of Palo Santo. So I'm going to give you guys a second to select your pile, and I'll see you in a moment. Hi, pile number 1. All right, so I've got your cards here. I'm just going to put your crystals off to the side. So let's dive into the cards and find out what you guys are going to be famous or known for. So you got the card Talent, Hope, Uzume or Humor, Birthing a New Age, Birthing New Creations, Dreaming a New World into Being, Trust the Niggle. What is the niggling feeling trying to tell you? And you also got Sea Serpent. All right, this is very cool. All right, so first of all, you are going to be known for a talent that you currently have, right? You got the talent card, and you also got this Trust the Niggle. So there's something that your intuition is sort of already guiding you towards. There's probably a dream that you've had for a long time, something that you want to create in your life or in the world, right? Birthing a new age, that's talking about you creating something. It could be a product. It could be, a business. It could be, just bringing yourself forward. You might be the talent. You might be somebody who is a singer-songwriter, an actor. You could be an athlete. But likewise, it could be an actual product or a business. But it's something that is really going to bring a lot of joy and happiness to people. The humor card is talking, you could be a stand-up comic, you could be doing something that has to do with humor. You could even be talking about your own personal politics or your stance on things, but in a humorous way, and you make it more palatable to people, you put down their defenses because they're not feeling threatened because you're presenting your ideas in a humorous, enjoyable way. But you could be bringing something that's joyful to people. It has nothing to do with classic comedy per se. It's just that it's bringing life and laughter. This card specifically has an energy to me of also being in tune with your inner child. So there could be some reference to, being silly and playful. And it could be an idea that you've wanted to do since you were a child. I'm really getting that energy from Trust the Niggle and Birthing a New Age. Oftentimes we do have an idea of, a greater purpose, if you will. You probably haven't known exactly what it is. You might not even know right now exactly what it is. That's kind of the energy I'm getting, that this is new. Like, this trust the niggle wouldn't have come out for you if you already knew concretely exactly what you're supposed to be doing. I think that you have an overall idea. I think that you have some pieces of the puzzle, because what my guides are showing me in my mind is somebody putting together literally a puzzle. But you know how most people start? We start with the outside edges of the puzzle, and then you fill in the middle. What I'm seeing in my mind is just that outside border completed, and then the middle is just sort of like disjointed. There's only like a couple of spots where the pieces have been locked together. So you might still be in school, you might still be in training, like you might be an apprentice, or like just still in like the birthing stages, but you have sort of had an idea of what you wanted to do from childhood. So it could be, like, I'll give you an example from my life. I knew my entire life that I was supposed to be working with people and I was supposed to be delivering a message. But how that translated for me when I was a little girl is very different than how I'm actually executing that in my adult life. As a child, I had images of like singing songs, like, like maybe I'll write a song, that kind of idea, because it made sense to the mind of a child. And in a way, that is what I'm doing, because I'm delivering a message. I'm not singing, but I'm delivering a message. So it's the same kind of idea. Now, you're going to have to sort of take that example and apply it to your own life. But there are things that you've loved since you were a child that are going to be part of your life purpose. That could be that you really loved painting and drawing, and you're going to be doing some sort of like graphic design or advertising or something like fashion design or textile design or interior design or something like that, that it's relatable, but it might not be exactly the same, but it's going to bring people a lot of joy. Now, my guides are giving me examples of, people who are doing a lot of upcycling, or they're presenting their own like take on interior design on social media. You might be doing something like that. Like, I'm obsessed with watching people on TikTok go thrifting. Like, I love thrifting so much. I love antique markets. I love going secondhand shopping. And now I just do it from the comfort of my home, watching what other people are finding all over the world when they go out thrifting. It might be something like that. It might not have anything to do with like antiques or thrifting, but you might be, like showing people how they can style vintage clothing in a new way. Or, you might be, you might have a background in like textile design, like I was saying, or fashion design, sewing, even like crocheting, knitting, that kind of thing, where you're showing people how they can take possibly their own existing clothes and like tailor it to fit them, like so that it's not, so like it's perfect for their own unique shape. Or you might be taking like I saw an amazing video today where this woman took these secondhand curtains from like the 1970s and she cut them into this gorgeous dress, and it was like this full bodice, and I was like blown away. And I have a background in fashion. I was like shocked at what she did. It was amazing. So it might be something like that, but honestly, like, I'm just giving you examples based on like the imagery that my guides are presenting to me. Apply it to your life in a way that makes sense. But you're definitely going to be famous for sharing your talent. Like the sea serpent is also talking about being creative. And I'm getting that upcycling idea, like reinventing. You're taking something that people sort of maybe overlook. Like, it could be an actual product where you're upcycling it, like all the examples I've given. But it could also be, you are you know, like you're reinventing something that people, like a lost art form. Like for example, barbering. For a long time, barbershops were going out of fashion. They were closing their doors, and the art of barbering was almost lost because men were going to hair salons. And then there was this, you know, resurgence of barbering and traditional techniques for men's haircuts. Traditionally, I say men's haircuts, it's not just men that are going to barbers, but the traditional techniques were cultivated for men. That's why I said that. So you could be doing something like that, like, or reinventing like a traditional form of food preparation, or like it could be like bringing back an old genre. Like that's what I'm getting. Like they're talking to me about poetry. So it could be that you're you know, writing your own book of poetry, but you're like mixing it and reinventing it, like changing it in some way, like so that it's more modern, because they keep talking to me about a renaissance, and like it's going to be a lot of creation, because in the Renaissance there was like a birth of creation. They're talking about enlightenment as well. This is like talking about old ideas, bringing them forward and making them new. But it's going to, whatever you're doing, however you're presenting your unique talent, right? It's going to be bringing people so much hope, and it's going to make them feel really seen and heard, because the serpent is talking about the never-ending cycles of life, right? It's talking about creation and reinvention. But the sea serpent is also connected to our intuition, to the divine feminine, because of that water element. And typically that is associated with the emotional body. So I really feel like you're going to be connecting with people like on a heart level. And hope. I think that you're going to be bringing people hope for the future. But you're going to be really taking action. Like there's the symbol for Taurus here. You're going to be getting messages from your intuition. There's the alchemical symbol for air here, which I always associate with the crown chakra. And then the sea serpent is really making me think of the suit of cups in traditional tarot. So you're connecting with people on an emotional level. You are, I think, delivering a message that's very high vibrational, the crown chakra being the chakra that actually is vibrating at the highest level, because it is perceived by the human eye as being clear or white, which is a symbol of the highest vibrations. So these are like very advanced you know, ideas. This is very, they're talking to me about being inclusive. You're talking about something that was old and maybe outdated, bringing it and making it new, that's allowing everyone to be included. This is beautiful. Oh my God, I love it. And then the dandelion, I really associate that with like the cancer campaign here in Canada. We in the spring, there are a number of organizations that collect money for the study of cancer to try and find a cure, and their symbol is the daffodil. And so this could be in terms of medicine as well. Like you might be bringing, like creating something, like it could be a business, it could be an app, it could be an organization, a nonprofit, where you're helping people to get access to medical care or knowledge, or it could be something to do with alternative medicines. I'm associating that just because they're literally showing me the little daffodil pin in my mind that's associated with that cancer campaign. So that's really interesting. That is really interesting. So let's get some more cards and find out a little bit more about what you guys are going to be known for, or famous for. What will pile number one be known for? You guys just got the Muse of Emotions, which is the Muse of Cups, and I was talking about the cup suit, and the Ace of Emotions and the Muse of Emotions. So this is the Ace of Cups and the King of Cups. So it's definitely something that's really going to connect with people on a heart level, that has a lot to do with raising the vibration of your community. Like, and that means like looking at us all as being united, that we're all supposed to be on the same team, that we have to like break down the differences that we see between us, because it keeps us separated and isolated. It has something to do with being more compassionate towards each other, seeing each other as possibly experiencing trauma instead of being like evil or destructive. You know, like there's something, and that's not going to resonate for all of you, obviously, but this is what's coming forward, that there is something to do with bringing people together and understanding that we're all part of the same ecosystem, because these cards have all of this imagery of the ocean. And for me, that makes me think about, I often use the symbolism of the ocean when I'm talking about the different vibrations and the different states of reality that we can all experience. That as spiritual people, I'm sure you guys have heard about, you know, high vibrational energy and low vibrational energy. And there are people that exist on a lower vibrational state, and there are people that exist on a higher vibrational state, very much like the, you know, pressurization levels in the ocean. And there are various species that can only exist comfortably at a lower vibrational state or a pressurized state. And there are beings that can only exist at a higher vibrational state or a less pressurized state, like a whale versus a blobfish, for example. So you might be trying to help people to meet in the middle so that the whales understand the blobfish and the blobfish understand the whales. I hope that makes sense. All right, let's find out some more information about what you guys are going to be famous or known for. Oh my God, this is incredible. Yes, there has something to do with the two states of being, because you just got the Seven of Voices, which is the Seven of Swords. This is typically a card that's talking about manipulation and deception. But there is a mirror image here. There's the darker shadow side, and then there is light up here. And to me, it's like you're giving people a glimpse into the experience of these other people, this other group, right? Because there are people that cause harm, right? But from my experience, being a spiritual healer, dealing with people on a day-to-day basis that have come from all walks of life and have had all kinds of different experiences, even the people that I meet that have created the most chaos and destruction in their lives and in the lives of others, don't do it because they're evil people. They do it because they've experienced deep trauma. That doesn't make it okay, but they don't know another way of being. And you might be creating something that helps everyone understand them better, or it helps them to understand themselves better. That could be that you're writing a movie, you know, you're writing a book, you're writing a song, you're, I don't know, there's just something that you're doing that's going to help people to see things from another perspective that specifically has to do with people that might be perceived as being deceptive or destructive. So this could be like you are a counselor working with people that have substance abuse issues or have gambling addictions or something along those lines, where they're definitely doing things to the people that around them that is painful and harmful. But they don't do it because they're evil people. They do it because they're in the throes of addiction. So, you know, I hope that resonates and makes sense to you guys. You're going to be helping to cultivate a new garden. You've got the Eight of Materials. Like, you're helping people to find new skills, to maybe for some of you, you're helping them with like emotional regulation, or to see the humor in their own experience. Going back to this humor card, like to be able to see the fact that even though you've experienced pain, to sort of have not be so hard on themselves and have a levity about life, which can be really hard when you've experienced a lot of trauma. But this card specifically is making me feel like you're giving people tools. Like she's got 8 different arms here, and in each one she's doing something different with a rose, which is talking about growth. So you're definitely providing people with either with different tools and different ways to approach a situation, or different ways of looking at a situation, and it's helping them to take down their defensiveness, their different, like, not be so closed off or guarded, connect with their emotional nature, have hope for the future, and feel more united, and have fun while they're doing it. So let's see what else I can find out about what you, yes, you got the Hanged Muse, which is talking about looking at things from a different perspective. You're helping people to see things from a different perspective. Possibly, yes, oh my God. You got the Devil, which is typically a card that's talking about being in the throes of addiction, or being in destructive patterns, doing things that are harmful to us. That can be actually physically doing things, but it can also be a mindset. It can be thinking about ourselves as limited beings, like not giving ourselves enough credit, not allowing us to really reach our full potential, because before we even get started on a new project or taking a risk that might be beneficial to us, we convince ourselves that we won't be successful, and we kind of talk ourselves out of even trying something. And you're going to be helping people to get out of you know, you got the 9 of Swords here. So this could be talking about people that are in periods of depression. You know, this is deep sadness and pain, and it can be talking about depression. And you're going to help them to find compassion for themselves and start to take action. The Knight of Cups is, you are starting to feel more empathetic, but you're actually moving forward. And this is talking about raising that vibration as well, because with this Nautilus shell, each one of the chambers holds air, and it helps the muscle to be able to rise and lower within, changing its pressurization to rise and lower in the ocean's depths. That is so amazing. So I'm going to get just a couple final cards that are going to tell me a little bit more about okay, sorry. They want me to switch decks. My guides, I'm saying. My guides want me to switch decks. What is pile number 1 going to be famous or known for? Yeah, you just got the charity cards. So some of you guys might actually be starting your own charity. What else? Starting your own charity, or working for a charitable organization, or doing something online where you're helping people to like understand a community better. Like they just said neurodivergence to me, so you could be working to create more awareness about neurodivergence. But yes, you're gonna be, your charity, in your compassion and your love towards others is going to help you to be on a public stage. And you're going to help people to escape their own ego. You got the egotism card. Sometimes people do things that are destructive because they are trying to maintain a facade. But ultimately that facade, you know, it's kind of like that energy of trying to keep up with the Joneses, like that old saying. And it's like they're putting all their energy into the wrong things because they're so focused on the exterior. This could be like getting into debt because you want to have like the latest, clothing or latest, iPhone, or you want the right car, those kinds of things, but you can't afford it. Feeling like if you have those things that somehow you're going to be whole and people will value you and they'll see you as an important person. But ultimately, none of that material stuff will ever translate into actually feeling good about yourself. Even the richest people, we've seen time and time again, there's people that have all kinds of fame and all kinds of money, and they still end up having severe depression and substance abuse issues and all kinds, or mental health issues. And that's not a judgment. That's just me pointing out the fact that even though they had fame and money, it didn't take away any of those other things that they were struggling with. And you're going to help with that. And you have this power, right? You got the power card. And like I was saying before, there's messages that you're getting through your own intuition, like your psychic abilities. So, oh my God, like your crystals. Now I understand why they wanted me to use both. You're using your capacity to love, partnered with your psychic abilities, to bring harmony to people, to help them to be seen and help them to escape whatever it is that is holding them back, holding them at this lower vibration. Like, this has changed the world kind of energy. Like, for many of you, you will be known on a world stage. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're all going to be like, celebrities. If you're not comfortable being in the public eye, you might still be famous through your organization. Like, people might not know what your name is, but they know what your company's name is, or they know what your charity's name is, or they know something about you, right? Like, this is big time. This is big time power. Wow. All right. So I'm going to get one final card to just close out the reading for you guys. So what else can you tell me about what pile number one? All right. You got the card Insight, opens the third eye to strengthen intuition. So you might very well be helping other people to open up their own psychic abilities, to lean into their own intuition, to listen to what their own internal voice is telling them they need to do in their life to bring themselves happiness and feel whole. You might be leading by example. Some of you will have some sort of charity, or you're working with a charitable organization, or you're working with a company, or developing a product and you're helping people with their own issues. Others of you are going to be living your truth, right? You're going to be successful artists or, creators in some capacity, and showing the world how much joy and you're just radiating your own positivity and joy. And as a result of them seeing you be a success, others have the confidence to step into their own power. And it gives them hope that they could actually be famous and successful and, live a life that allows them to be authentic. So that is so powerful. I'm so excited for you guys. And like I was saying before, you might be at the very beginning of this journey, but just keep at it. Like, you're being guided in the right way. And my guides want me to make sure that I mention that no matter how many interests you have, don't feel like you're scattered. That really what you're doing, it's like a training ground. You're gaining information from a whole bunch of different areas that are all going to help you to then birth this idea. So for example, like we acknowledge this in many, like, people that are on a public stage that are like actors, for example. Many actors will take acting lessons, but they also take dance and they also take singing lessons, right? They have, like, they're multifaceted. They need to know a lot about a lot because they might be playing it on Broadway where they need to, like, be able to sing and dance. But equally, they might be, hoping that they're going to get into a movie and like move to LA and live that Hollywood life, but they need to keep all of their options open, because ultimately what they want to do is be in front of people acting, right? So they're open to whatever way that's going to come to them, and they just gather the skills that they need to be ready at the right moment when that opportunity arises for them. Your guides are wanting you to do the same thing. So don't feel like you're too scattered. Just follow your heart. Just keep leaning into it, because it's leading you towards something really powerful. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. It was really fun. If you liked the video and you could give me a thumbs up, that would be amazing. And if you know someone who might be interested, share the video. And of course, I would love you guys to join me here by subscribing to the channel. And if anyone is interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can always go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and pricing are available there. I hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Hi, pile number 2. Okay, so I've got your cards here. I'm just gonna put the Sage bundle over to the side. Let's find out what you're gonna be famous or known for. So you got the card Forgiveness, Strength, Boundaries. Oh, you got a lot of extra cards actually. Well-being, Affection, and this also says Sorrel, and there's the number 12 on here, which would reduce down to the number 3, and the alchemical symbol for fire, and the astrological symbol for Taurus. You also got Hecate, the in-between, which is number 20. You got the Council of Light, Divine Orchestration, Helpers in the Subtle Realms. All right, well, first of all, you got the Deer, which also has the alchemical symbol for Earth. And then the final card you got is Yes. So there is something that you already have in your mind that you are hoping will come forward in this reading. There is something that you want to be known for or famous for, and I can give you a wholehearted yes. You know, and I have goosebumps. You know exactly what you're going to be known for. And my guides are saying to me, you don't have to worry. You know, for some of you, I feel like there's been ups and downs. I get the energy that for many of you, you're very spiritual people. I would call you light workers, your old souls, advanced spirituality, with the fact that you're connected with Hecate and the Council of Light. There's a strong energy here. And I mean, even the Deer. There's a strong energy of helping others. The Deer is connected to the Divine Mother, empathy, compassion, nurturing. There's a stillness. There's a nurturing quality. And you did get the card Affection and Well-being and Forgiveness. And then partners so beautifully with Boundaries and Strength, which I think is something that Hecate really is the perfect card to sort of capture this energy. There is a duality to you. You have, I believe you've been through many ups and downs. Like I was saying, there's been many tests along your path. I think you've gone through a lot of different spiritual lessons. You might have had a lot of different contracts, like karmic relationships, and like things that just didn't work out the way that you wanted them to. This could be relationships that didn't work out, and it could be even friendships where people didn't value you, or you didn't get the promotion you deserve. Like the energy I'm getting is that you were putting in the work, you were working hard towards something, and it just never was manifesting into what you wanted it to be. But I think that you kind of recognize now that you are, the purpose of your life right in this moment is for you to understand your own strength and to understand the duality within you and sort of take control and authority of your own life. You had to sort of face your own shadow. There's a mirror on this card of affection with the shadow of a cat. Cats are a symbol of reincarnation, and they can be a symbol of magic as well. So going back to the energy of Hecate. And Hecate is a goddess who is connected to the shadow realm as well. You know, there's a reason why it says the in-between here. She's very powerful, and she is connected to benevolence, but also malevolence. She isn't biased. She doesn't see those two things as positive and negative in the way that we associate positive and negative, right? She sees it the way an alchemist would see positive and negative. And if you think about a battery, positive means energy out. Negative means energy in. That's how she sees positive and negative, not evil and good. That isn't part of her vocabulary. And I think that you are starting to understand that as well. And when you understand the fact that there really truly isn't any like evil and good, you know, the way that sort of like Christianity has sort of taught that lesson, you know, of heaven and hell, that kind of energy, you have more power and authority over your own life, because you can then take control. And then you did. I think people were harmful to you. They didn't have your best interest at heart, and you stepped into your own strength and you executed boundaries. And there's something about that process that is going to push you forward so that you reach a level of fame and notoriety. So you could be working in the same, you know, circle as me. You might be a spiritual teacher or a tarot card reader or a mystic of some kind, you know, working with magical energies. But you could equally be like a teacher or a counselor or in the medical field. You could be in justice. There's just something here strongly coming forward about people, you know, teaching people to see the duality of life, not to personalize the negative that happens to them, see it as a lesson, be able to embody forgiveness, to focus on their own well-being, to face their own shadow, put up boundaries, and move forward with strength. But there's an energy here of having compassion throughout this whole process. And that through this, teaching people in, you know, whatever way comes naturally to you, you're going to help them to ascend, and that's going to ultimately have a huge impact on the entire world. And you're going to be famous as a result of this, or known as a result of this. Now, this could be a small scale or large scale. This could be you writing a book all about, you know, it could be like a self-help book. Or it could be you starting your own practice and working with clients, and you become really, really well known in your own community. And it could be working with clients that are people, but you could also be working with animals. Like this could be you starting your own reserve, you know, like a wildlife reserve, or helping animals in some way, because like animals are really coming strongly forward. But you could be working, there's an energy here with magic. There's strongly an energy of magic and well-being. So like I was saying before, you might be working in teaching or health. Like you could be a speech pathologist. You could be, you know, doing some sort of guidance of some kind, because with this Council of Light, you're definitely being guided by a higher force. I think that you're connected to the moon and feminine energies. That would obviously make sense with Hecate being here, because she's associated with the Maiden Mother Crone, the triple goddess, which is also associated with the moon. So that might resonate for you, but let's definitely get some more cards and find out some more about what you guys are going to be famous or known for. Pile number 2. What is pile number 2 going to be famous or known for? Boy. What is pile number 2 going to be famous or known for? Okay, lots of cards came out here. Let's see what you got. All right, so you got the 5 of emotions, 5 of cups in reverse. You also got, let's go under the bottom. Oh, the devil, the Hierophant, Knight of Materials, Queen of Materials, 10 of Materials, Knight of Inspirations, the Moon. So you're definitely connected to the divine feminine and moon energies. Queen of Cups, Ace of Voices, Ace of Materials, and the Queen of Inspirations, which is also the Queen of Wands. Okay, so let me just organize here. So there definitely is something to do with helping people to stop feeling like they're victims and take control of their own lives, to heal from the past and not feel like they that negative things are happening to them and they don't have any control. So, you know, you could be guiding people out of these destructive patterns, because the devil is talking about being, you know, chained to things that are destructive in our life. This can be talking about manipulation, but this can be talking about addictions. And the moon is connected to the divine feminine, but it's also talking about secrets and things that are kept in the shadows. It can be talking about our shadow self. And then the Hierophant is talking about being a guide or a teacher, helping to solve problems through the spiritual realm. So I would not be surprised at all if many of you are working in the spiritual realm. You know, that you're tarot card readers or you're mediums or you're doing Reiki or crystal healing, that kind of thing. Something to do with spirituality. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like on the same level or in the same arena as what I do. It could be more in the realms of like self-help, like I was saying before, but you are showing a lot of compassion towards people. You're being depicted here as the Queen of Cups, but also with a lot of strength and authority. You're a leader, you're in the public eye. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if many of you like have a lot of social media or you're being seen by people, because the Queen of Wands is an entrepreneur, a leader, someone who is comfortable being in the spotlight and is really makes it look effortless. Like you, I think, have a certain amount of grace, and I also feel like you are very charismatic and very beautiful. Like you got the Queen of Materials. So that's like the energy of Mother Earth. You can create anything that you want. You're a master manifester. But Hecate also has this real energy of like beauty and grace and strength. And so I wouldn't be surprised at all if you were like a very stylish, beautiful person who has a strong message. You know, you could be talking about your own political ideals or your own philosophies about things. You could be talking about your own sense of beauty. You know, this could be connected to your own message about beauty, because there's so many pentacles, or it's the suit is materials in this deck, but that's talking about the physical world, you know, things that are actually manifested already in the 3D. You could be talking to people about how to manifest. That might be how you become famous. You might be talking to people about how they talk to themselves, trying to see the cups as half full and change the way that they communicate, not only with themselves but with others, the way they think about the world, because everything that we think about, we bring about. And if you keep thinking about all of the negative things that are happening in your life, and you keep feeling like it's unjust and this isn't the way it should be and I don't deserve this, but you don't focus enough on what you do want and start taking action towards what you want, and that can be really difficult. You know, it was a hard lesson for me too. I had to walk this same path, where bad things had happened to me, injustices had happened, or I wasn't rewarded, you know, to the level that I had put effort into something. Like I was putting in more effort, say, into a job, and never getting promotions or never getting raises, and like actually getting like pay cuts and things like that, that to me felt very unjust. And I had to recognize that I had to take action in those moments. And that meant leaving those jobs and not sticking around in those situations anymore, or not hanging out with those people anymore, or not putting in any effort to a situation that I wasn't getting the outcome. Whereas many people sort of stay in this, you know, victim mentality, right? Like the Five of Cups in the upright, you're helping to release them from that energy. That's why it's in the reverse. Where they are very pessimistic about love, or they're really pessimistic about their career or their life in general. And they just keep thinking like, well, you know, how do I get this person to change this or change that? And you can't get anyone to change their behavior. You can only put up your own boundaries. And boundaries doesn't mean I don't like it when you talk to me that way. Boundaries means when someone talks to you in a way that you don't like, you leave. You won't allow them to talk to you that way. And you can apply that to every situation in your life. And you might be helping people, because you've learned that lesson, to learn that and apply that to their own life. So that's your message, right? The Ace of Voices is talking about a new way of communicating. It's also talking about success. And then you've got the Ace of Materials, which is also talking about a brand new fruitful idea, something that you're manifesting in the physical world that ultimately has you taking action, showing others how to take action, because you got the Knight of Inspiration. So that's you taking action in the public arena. And then you got the Knight of Materials as well, which is you manifesting that idea. And ultimately it brings you abundance, because you got the 10 of Materials, which is complete fulfillment. It's luxury, it's abundance, it's so much wealth that it's like intergenerational wealth. So that's where I really am getting this strong energy of you being on a public stage, possibly being, you know, having your own social media platform, or communicating your message in some other way that feels right to you, that is connected to your own spirituality or your own spiritual journey. Even if you don't associate it with spirituality, it's you learning how to be in your, like, speak your truth, stand in your authority, be the leader of your own life, not allow anyone else to control you, not allow yourself to judge yourself even on your own shadow self, to integrate that and have compassion for yourself and others, and manifest what you actually want, and to be able to have like forgiveness in your heart for the people that hurt you, and to understand that duality, not evil and good, energy in versus energy out. That is fascinating. I love that. So let's get a couple more cards to get a better idea about what you guys are going to be known for or famous for in this life, pile number 2. What is pile number 2 going to be famous for or known for? Okay. All right. Oh, yes. Okay, so you are, this group, the majority of you are actually going to be famous. Like, you will be known. People will know who you are, know your name, know your face, because you got publicity and there is an angel here pointing at a star. Like, you are going to be a star because you're innovating something. You're creating something that's brand new, a new way of seeing the world, a new way of engaging in life. Like, this could be you applying some of these lessons, this knowledge that you have to some sort of product or a message. Like I was saying, there's a book, it could be anything, but it's going to bring you abundance and riches. And I think for some of you, it might have something to do with the lessons of life. You might be actually a spiritual teacher, right? Talking about some of the same things that I talk about, because Alpha and Omega is on this card, and that is making me think about the never-ending cycles of life and reincarnation. So, and like that cat, I was talking about reincarnation before. So Alpha is the first letter of the Greek alphabet, and Omega is the last letter of the Greek alphabet. So that's talking about the beginning and the end. So, and this is card number 10, which is also delivering that message. 1 being the beginning, 0 being the end. And you might have learned that all of these situations are part of your life's purpose, your life plan that you wrote, and all of these horrible situations that you've been in actually helped you to learn how to be free, because you got the submission card, and there is a bird inside this bird cage, but the door of the cage is open. That is something that many times it's hard for us to learn that lesson. Some people are in a state where they're in a prison and they can escape, especially children, for example. Children, when they're in a bad situation, they're in the wrong environment, they're in a bad home life, they can escape. There's nowhere for them to escape to. But once we become adults, we do have authority in our own lives and we can make different decisions. But ultimately, we have to like change something. You know, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're always going to get the same result. And it's like you've learned that lesson. You've freed yourself. But I also feel like you have learned some sort of lesson about being okay being in isolation. You got the isolation card and you got the patience card. So that's talking about like sometimes you have to go it alone and be on your own and be patient as the universe is bringing you your blessings. And you have to sort of concentrate on what you want. This is strongly feeling like for many of you, you're talking about manifestation. You're telling people and you're helping them to understand how to manifest. And like that could be you're doing manifestation and you're like talking about the law of attraction on, you know, Instagram or on YouTube or on TikTok. But you could also be fitness instructors or personal trainers, and you're helping people to keep the motivation going, and you're helping them to learn about their body. Or you're like, you know, for some of you, you might be creating a different type of relationship with fitness and the body, because there's a lot of people that would love to be more active, but they feel shamed about going into a gym or working with a personal trainer because, you know, they feel judged, or, you know, the personal trainers that they've been with in the past have, you know, sort of implied that they need to lose weight or they need to change something about themselves, that somehow they're flawed. And like, that was the whole reason that the person came into the gym in the first place, because they wanted to have a better relationship with their body and fitness. Not necessarily because they wanted to change the way they looked or be publicly shamed, you know? Like you might be doing something in a different way, but you're definitely helping people to have a different relationship with their own past and their own history so they can create something that's totally new. Like there's a spider web here, which is talking about our web of life in many different traditions. The spider is associated with the weaver of destiny, right? And we are the masters of our own life. We're co-creating with the universe, and we are co-creating with the universe based on our thoughts and our actions and our words. All of that is creating a vibration that then creates what we are going to experience in the future. And there's something about you understanding that and like helping others to understand that. So let me get a final card that's going to sort of sum up what you're going to be famous or known for, pile number 2. What is pile? All right. You got Tree of Life, true wisdom, and making good choices in life. Yes, you're helping people to make good choices in life. You're helping them to grow new opportunities for themselves, grow a new branch off of the tree of their own life. And the Tree of Life, there's a Star of David here. So that's all of the alchemical symbols superimposed on top of each other. So it's finding balance in your own life. But also, this can be talking about, I often talk about how you can see that there are 2 alchemical symbols, fire and water, superimposed on top of each other because they are polarities. They are opposites, right? They work together, but they also work against each other. So going back to that positive and negative, energy in versus energy out, there's something to do with that. Like you're helping people to understand how to make better choices in their life so that they have a better outcome. You know what it is that you're supposed to be doing because you got this yes card. Even if for some of you, you're like, I don't really know, meditate on it. And when I say meditate, just like think about it. You know, just give yourself in those moments where you have a little piece of, like a little peace and quiet. Just roll that thought around in your mind because there's probably something that you have really, really wanted to do with your life, but it's your ego mind that's telling you, no, I'll never be able to make money doing that. I'll tell you that never in a million years in the old version of me, you know, when I was working in fashion and I had my old life and I was, you know, sort of in the prison of my own making, did I ever think that I would be able to make a living doing this? You know, being like a spiritual guide to people, working with clients on a day-to-day basis, being able to invest in my own spirituality and help others to come into alignment with their own spiritual journey. I never, ever, ever thought that that would ever be something that I could do full-time and make a living doing that, and that people would even be receptive and open to it. And I just took a risk. I took a risk because my heart was crying out for me to do that. All signs were pointing that that was the direction that I was supposed to go in. And it was exactly what I was supposed to be doing. And every single day, that's proved truthful to me. You know, like even with the growth of this channel, like I'm so shocked that things took off so quickly. But it took off quickly for me because it's in alignment with what I'm supposed to be doing, and that can be yours as well. It is going to happen for you. You are going to be known on a public stage. Publicity. You are going to be wealthy. You are going to have riches. Everything that you want is going to be yours. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope it resonated for you. If it did, if you could like the video, that would be amazing. If you know someone who might be interested in this, you could share it with them. And if you haven't joined the family here already, please subscribe. I would love to have you guys in the next reading. And if anyone is interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can always go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services, pricing, booking, all of that is available there. So I hope you guys have a fabulous day, and I will see you soon. Take care. Hi, pile number 3. All right, so I'm gonna just move over your Palo Santo, and then let's get into your cards. These are gonna tell me what is going to make you famous or known. You got prosperity, then refinement, and it has a dahlia here. There's the alchemical symbol for air, the astrological symbol for Scorpio, and the number 42, which would reduce down to the number 6, which is talking about balance. Then you got Freya, which is also the number 15, which would also reduce down to the number 6. That's interesting. So balance twice now. And Freya is the card for radical acceptance. Then you got Persephone, and this card is inexperience, and it is the number 43, so that is the number 7. And then, oh my God, this is wild. So then you got Yuki Onna, stillness, which is the number 52, which is also then the number 7. Wild. So 2 6s and 2 7s. Then you got share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression, and lamb with the alchemical symbol for earth. Wild. All right. So the energy that I'm getting here is that you are going to have some sort of business, is the energy I'm getting, where you're going to be very, very prosperous. The energy that I get is that you have gone through some lessons in this life where you learned a lot of wisdom from these experiences. I get the energy that they were probably painful lessons because it's something that you've had to radically accept. And through that experience, it could have had something to do with you being sort of naive or inexperienced about something, possibly trusting someone that you shouldn't have trusted, or feeling optimistic or hopeful about something, like possibly you started a business and you like poured all your money into it, and you all signs were pointing to this being, you know, your big payoff, and then it didn't work out, but you learned a lot of lessons from it, because there's something to do with you being inexperienced, right? This is the inexperienced card, but also lamb is an energy of being innocent. And it can also, both of these cards are energies of being young or youthful. The lamb can also be an energy of being sort of naive. And I don't mean that in a judgment at all. I think that you were guided into this experience so that you could sort of refine your skills. Oftentimes entrepreneurs have many different businesses that fail before they have something that is really successful. And it's because they're learning how to be an effective leader or entrepreneur through those failures. We learn the most through the painful situations that have happened in our lives, unfortunately. And it allowed you to have a deeper understanding of yourself, refine your skills, to find balance, right? With that number 6, you have, I think, been able to balance out your energies of being active and doing, as well as being passive and listening, right? Because the lamb is an energy that is associated with being gentle. It can also be an energy that has to do with being a follower, whereas Freya is the energy of a warrior and a leader. And then Persephone is the energy of being in between, because the mythology around Persephone is that she would spend half of her year with her husband Hades in the underworld, and then the other half of the year with her mother, right? So there's something about you being able to use your skills to be an active listener, and as well as being active. So for some of you, you might be sort of introverted. You might consider yourself, or have considered yourself in the past, kind of shy, more of an observer, because this stillness card is coming forward for me right in this moment. And stillness can be an observer, just quiet and watching. But you might have also been the reverse. You might have been like a go-getter, just working towards your goals diligently, but taking action before your plan was sort of formulated. Like you might have been the type of person that you would go and sort of buy all of the material that you needed for your project without really figuring out how you were going to execute that project. Or, you start a business, but you don't have a business plan, that kind of energy. And through this experience, through the failure, you learned that you have to sort of take things slower. You have to observe, you have to watch, you have to plan. But it could be either or, right? Like it could be you learning that you can only watch and observe for so long before you have to start to take action and move forward. So apply that to your life in a way that makes sense to you and your circumstances. But regardless, you are going to be coming out of this holding pattern is the energy I'm getting. Like, I think that, I've said, I think you've had some sort of failure, and now you're in a process of finding that balance. And then you're going to start to charge forward and move forward, because we've got the progression, right, from the number 6 into the number 7. And this card is talking about you sharing your voice, coming out of the cave and expressing yourself. So you're about to launch some sort of business, or possibly you're going to have a glow up and you're going to present yourself in a new way, and it's going to be extremely prosperous. For some of you, I'm getting the energy that some of you are going to be like famous in the public eye. And when I say famous, I'm not necessarily getting the energy that you're going to be like a celebrity, or like an influencer. You'd be more famous in the sense of like you are the CEO of a really successful company, that kind of energy. But for some of you, you're going to be the leader of that company, but it's going to be more than the company that everyone knows versus you. And then others of you're going to be known versus just the company. So I need to get more cards and get some more energy into this reading so I can get a more thorough idea of what you guys are going to be known or famous for. What is pile number 3 going to be known or famous for? What is pile number 3 going to be known or famous for? Pile number 3 going to be known or famous for? Okay. Yeah, so you just got the Fool card. So there's definitely, you've been in the past at least, in an energy of innocence, the beginning of the journey, super optimistic about things, really hopeful for the future. Like I was saying, it could have been a business, it could have been a school program. Like you might have like decided that you wanted to go to law school, and then you completed like a year or 2 years and you're like, this doesn't feel right, or you actually passed the bar and you're like, I don't want to be a lawyer. This is awful. This isn't at all what I wanted, because whatever it was that you had embarked on, it turned out badly. You got the 3 of Swords. So it could be that you were betrayed, like the energy I was getting before, where you were sort of a little bit naive and possibly somebody took advantage of you. And it was very painful, but it might have been just like the failure of whatever endeavor you were embarking on, and that was really painful to you. What isn't necessarily that someone stabbed you in the back or misled you. But it was important because it helped you to grow. You went through a metamorphosis. You've got the death card. And this particular card even has a moth on it. And when I'm working with my clients, I love to share this video that I found that shows the evolution of a caterpillar into a moth. And there's many different stages of evolution that caterpillar takes before it actually emerges as the full-fledged moth. It goes into the chrysalis. Its body basically sort of like deconstructs or liquefies. It reconfigures itself into a different caterpillar, eats more, then goes back into the chrysalis again. Its body deconstructs, and then it becomes the moth. Then it emerges from the chrysalis. It has to hang upside down. Its wings stretch and finally solidify through a chemical process. And then it can fly. It's just like us in our spiritual journey or in along our life's path. We go through many different sort of tower moments, if you will, where it's like you are going along, everything is good, you're working towards a particular goal, and then everything sort of falls apart and you have to reinvent yourself. And you might go through that more than once in a lifetime. And that could be, you go through a divorce, or somebody dies, or you lose a job, or, your house gets flooded. Like, it could be anything, but it's changing the way you feel about yourself and your life, and you're looking at things in a different way. COVID, for example, is a tower moment for like the entire world. So many of us reinvented ourselves or started to think about our life in a different way as a result of the pandemic that has been ongoing. And so through this heartbreaking experience, you learn skills on how you can sort of invest in your own future and how you can move forward. Because you got the Page of Materials and you got the Eight of Materials. So the Eight of Materials is telling me that through this death and rebirth cycle, you started to really put in a lot of effort into building your future and really figuring out how you were going to achieve the things that you wanted to achieve. That could be you going and getting training in whatever field you want to be in, or connecting with the right people to be able to align you with a job that you really want, or you started to put more effort into your hobbies, so you had more work-life balance. And through that process, you started to get an idea about the future, right? You got the Page of Materials, so that's you getting some sort of idea about a business or something that you want to achieve in the physical world. And you started to actually see how it would all come together. You got the Knight of Inspirations. This is the Knight of Wands. You also got the Three of Wands and the Queen of Wands. So you got an idea of how you can move forward, what action you need to take to bring in this business or whatever it is that you wanted to achieve so you could have your prosperity. And you actually started to move forward towards that. And then your ships started to come in. Your blessings started to come in. And you started to like elevate. And you might not be all the way there yet, right? But that's where you're headed. The Queen of Inspirations is like a public figure. She or he is in front of the world, on a world stage. She's in front of her audience and she's delivering a message or being a guide to people. This is like a beautiful person, both inside and out, that is an effective leader and a good communicator as well. They have a grace about them. They just seem to like be able to weave their life effortlessly with balance, and that's the strong energy that keeps coming through here. There's a cheetah on this card, which is a symbol of balance, because there's the dual color on the coat of the cheetah. And it's also talking to me about being able to make fast-paced decisions, right? A cheetah is an animal, the fastest animal on the earth, but it's short distances. It's talking to me about you being able to charge forward at exactly the moment you need to. It's like timing things, like you're watching. There's my opportunity, go, and you just jump at it, right? That's really powerful energy to be able to utilize this energy of the Fool, but time it so perfectly, like being stealth about it, really like aligning yourself up to be successful. That is incredible. I love that. So I'm going to get a couple more cards here to find out a bit more about what you guys are going to be famous or known for. What is pile number 3 going to be famous or known for? What is pile number 3 going to be famous or known for? Okay. Got a ton of cards here. All right. Okay, so there's some sort of business that you want to birth, some sort of creation that you want to birth into the world, right? You got the birth card. This also has the energy of balance here because it's number 4 and there is a sun and moon. So those two opposing forces. And you, I think, some of you might have already started to take action on this idea. Some of you are still in the gestation period, you know, like a true birth. There's 9 months where the baby is gestating and you know, growing and forming. You might be in that state right now where you're sort of organizing yourself because you got the organization card. You might be building an actual business, like an organization or a charity, because you got the charity card as well. And it might have something to do, there's strong like energy here where I feel like you are going to be speaking a message. Like I think there's some people in this group that might be influencers in some way, and you might be on TikTok actually talking about your politics. Like the energy I'm getting is that there are going to be people that are extremely critical of you. Got criticism card, and you got the caution card, and you got the negotiation and the endurance card. And you got the control card, and you got the principles card. So you might be talking about your own principles. You know, you might be trying to get people to see things from a different perspective, because there's a lot of energy here between the sun and moon. Because like I was saying with the birth card, you've got a sun and moon on the top of that card. Then you've got a sun and moon on the top of the principles card. Then you've got a sun and moon on the top of the negotiation card. So you are helping people to sort of see things from a different perspective by using your own authority to help them see things in a different way. So you might be part of a particular group of individuals that have been sort of overlooked, right? You might be part of a minority group there where you've been really mistreated, you know? Like I'm thinking about within Canada, like the Aboriginal community and how awful they've been treated, and still even now to this day, right now here in Canada, they don't have clean drinking water, you know, like, which is appalling to me. It makes me want to cry right now. You might be part of that community, and you might be using your own powers of negotiation, your own powers to, you know, be presented in like as an authority, right? Like the energy I'm getting is that you have a lot of sex appeal and beauty, because you got the lust cards. So like that might be that you're a woman, for example, who is a stunning person and physically you're really beautiful, and people look at you and they like lust after you. You got the affair card. And you're also an extremely positive person. You got the enthusiasm card. But you understand that even though some people might objectify you and they might actually try and control you, that the fact that they are sexually attracted to you, you can actually use as a power. Because, you know, beautiful people do tend to have more access to a public stage. And you might have recognized that, and you're using that to be able to point out your message so that you can be critical of the double standards, so that you can point out areas where people should be cautious and not be taken advantage of the way that you were taken advantage of, where you're telling people and helping them to take control of their lives and how they can find endurance so that they can have their own joy and success, because there's a sun on the top of that card, which is associated with abundance. This is a really powerful message. And then these two cards are also number 6, which is so wild. Like, the energy I'm strongly getting here is that, and there's like the goddess energies throughout here, where it really feels like strong feminine energy, where like Freya, she is a goddess of war as well as beauty. You know, that you're strong, and even Persephone, like this goddess of fertility, but also a goddess that reigns over the underworld, that you don't allow. You use the fact that people underestimate you as your strength. It's like your secret weapon. It's like, okay, fine. You're going to underestimate me. You're going to objectify me. You're going to think of me as only this beautiful person. Well, you are in for a rude awakening, because I am sharp and I'm going to use all of your weaknesses against you so that I can get my message across, and I'm going to help liberate people. That's the energy I'm getting. This is like women supporting women and using the patriarchy against itself to help, you know, help people move forward, or use the other double standards that we have in our society to help your own community move forward. There are ways around this. When people are very close-minded and they only see things one way, it's like they have blinders on. Well, they can't see things that are outside of their, you know, direct vision. You can use that against them to help yourself and your community. And before, you guys will be so far ahead that they won't even know what hit them, which I love. And I highly, highly encourage you to move forward with this idea. And I support you. And I'm excited about what you're doing, because this is strongly an energy of like empowerment. That's really what I'm getting. This is like strong empowerment. So let me get a couple final cards about you, group number 3, and what you're going to be famous or known for. What is pile number 3 going to be famous or known for? Oh, you got a lot of cards. Okay, so the first one that came out is breaking bad habits, self-acceptance, excellent mental health, and letting go of vices. So yes, you may be part of a community where, you know, they've been marginalized, or like with self-acceptance. This could be you're part of the body positivity movement, or you're part of a minority group where there's been sort of internalized hatred, or you are bringing awareness to people, mental health, or you're helping people that are sort of succumbing to vices. Like whatever you've experienced in your life, whatever your big, you know, tower moment was, whatever your obstacles were, you are now using that experience to help liberate other people, which is incredible. And it's going to bring you so much prosperity. And then you also got successful career, a happy working environment, pay raises and promotions. So if you've been in a work environment where you were not given your due, You know, like you work like day and night for an employer who was constantly asking you to do more and not giving you any compensation, right? Like asking you to work overtime, but then not paying you for it. That kind of shady stuff. Then you might end up, you know, unionizing your work environment or working to help people not be in those kind of circumstances. Whatever it is, you're going to be properly rewarded for your efforts. And then you also got triple moon, embracing all aspects of yourself, the divine and the earthly. Triple moon, that's feminine energy. That's also embracing your shadow aspects. You know, your own weaknesses, being able to see them as strengths. You know, like I was saying, you have that, the number 6 and it being associated with balance. And, balance out the divine feminine and the divine masculine. The divine feminine is closely associated with creation, intuition, compassion, and empathy. Whereas the divine masculine is classically associated with action, standing up and being heard, that kind of more assertive and aggressive energies. But when they come into union, it's a perfect balance if you can find equilibrium. And it's like, that's what you're going to be doing. And then the final card you got is protection, strong protective magic for the family and the home. You are being divinely guided towards this. I want you to know that the failures or whatever obstacles you endured before, right, that caused this 3 of Swords in your life, you are not going to experience that again. That it was a lesson, you know, like sometimes we have to go through painful things. Every single person on this planet has to go through trauma or something that's painful. But it is an opportunity for us to grow. You know, think about birth, the beginning of life. At the beginning of life, there is pain. That mother is experiencing more intense pain on a physical level than she's ever experienced in her entire life. And from that sacrifice, a new birth takes place. A new being comes into this world. If you can sort of remember that when you're going through your own, you know, tower moments and your own trauma, remember that this is the pain that I'm enduring so that I can have that new awakening, that like transformation, like the moth, completely like disintegrating and then coming back together, the same components coming back together so that you can rise up and see things from a higher perspective. The caterpillar becomes the moth that can then fly. It's beautiful. I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I hope that it resonated for you. If it did, if you could like the video, that would be amazing. If you know someone who would be interested in this, share the video. And if you haven't already joined the family here, I would love it if you would subscribe. That would be amazing. And if anyone is interested in having a one-on-one reading with me, you can go to my website, odessamall.com. All of my services and booking information is available there. And I hope I see you guys in the next reading. Take care.